everyone, today I'm going to be discussing this anti-anxiety notebook. And I bought this one because I struggle with anxiety myself quite a lot and quite for a while now already. And when I came across this notebook, I was intrigued, so I wanted to try it out. And I actually saw this one when I was scrolling through Instagram and they recommended it to me. And I think Instagram or the algorithm found out that I was feeling anxious. But yeah, I'm happy that they did recommend it to me because I've been using it for a week now, not that long, but I think long enough to give a honest review. And we're gonna go a little bit through the notebook to see what the main parts are and what you can expect if you buy this notebook. So yeah, let's get started. I bought my notebook from this website that is called therapynotebooks.com. It's quite nice to check it out for yourself and to see what other tools there are that they recommend or that they offer. I think the cool thing about this website or about the therapy notebooks is that it is made also by therapists. And when you check out the shop, you can see all the products that they offer, and it's not only the anti-anxiety notebook, but also, for example, a depression guidebook or a sleep and CBT workbook, trauma and written exposure workbook, and all other kinds of tools that you can try. And they also offer this awesome Feeling Things hat, but unfortunately it is out of stock now for a while, I saw. So I will link the website down below, and there you can check it out for yourself and see all the other notebooks that they have to offer. But I got the anti-anxiety one. So when should you be using the anti-anxiety notebook? And I think, the question is or the answer is quite simple actually. And it is that whenever you feel anxious, you can use the notebook. So what I like about it is that you don't really need to read a lot before you can use it. It is nice though, I think, to read a little bit before you try one of the journal entries, because they explain what you are doing and the why behind it. And I always think it's very interesting to know the why and what the technique is that they are using. So basically the notebook is for everyone who is experiencing anxiety, and it's really simple or really easy to start using. And the notebook is based on CBT, and I discussed CBT a little bit before in one of my other videos. And CBT stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, and this is a form of therapy that is used all over the world. And it's used a lot for depression and a lot for anxiety. And what CBT does is that it kind of tries to change the way we look at things. So, and there's also this awesome quote that I read in the notebook, and you guys know that I love quotes, but they state that we are governed more by our perceptions of reality than by reality itself. And so by changing our perceptions, we can feel entirely differently. And that is, that's the basics of CBT actually. So same situation, but we try to look at it from a different perspective. And by doing that, we can change our reality. So you go through the notebook learning about different topics that have something to do with anxiety. For example, you learn about the effects of sleep on anxiety and what happens to the body and to the mind also when you don't get enough sleep, or the effects of mindfulness, for example. And I also read something interesting, for example, about the growth mindset. So if you believe that you can change, so you can grow, that has a positive effect on your anxiety, instead of when you think that there's nothing to do about it and you just have to live with it. And it sounds very simple or very obvious when you say it like that, but yeah, I think that's really something to think about also. Yeah, you really learn something about the all kinds of factors that influence our anxiety. And then the main part of the notebook is the journal entries that you can fill out. So what is cool about this journal entry is that you fill out all these questions about a specific situation that you felt anxious about. So what I think is interesting about writing down the situation is that one, you can take a step back kind of, so you have a nicer overview when you write something down than when you think about it in your head. And the other part is that with the notebook they ask you all kinds of questions, or actually there are these 5 questions that you can answer, and by answering these questions you try to recognize the patterns of thought that you had in that situation or that you have now. So they ask firstly what happened, and then they ask what are the thoughts that came up in the situation, what were your feelings. And then the next question is, what is a pattern of thought that you recognize now when you look back at the situation? So you try to recognize the, if you made one of those thinking errors, and then in the next step you try to take a step back again, and then see if you can look at it from a new perspective. So when you try to get rid of those thinking error. So the last question is, how can you think differently about the situation? And if you forgot a little bit what those thinking errors were, you can of course check out my previous video where I explained some of them. But also the nice thing is that they add an appendix at the end. Appendices are always at the end, but they add an appendix, and there you can check out the thinking errors and you can read about them again. And also one other cool thing is that they add a feelings wheel. And it's really normal that you have difficulty labeling your emotions because there are a lot. And also a lot of the times we don't really take the time to really, be still kind of and really think of what is it that we are feeling right now, what is it that we are experiencing right now. So it's really helpful to have this feelings wheel to try to identify those emotions. So would I recommend buying the anti-anxiety notebook? And I think the answer is quite simple. I think yes. I think it's a really helpful tool to become really aware of the way we think. A lot of the time we don't take the time to really think about all this, so we have these automatic negative thoughts. And by using this notebook, you really become aware of them. And I think becoming aware of them is the first step into changing the way we think. So I think it's a really useful tool. Do I think it's a replacement for therapy if you have a lot of anxiety? I don't think it's a replacement. I think it's a really nice addition, and I think it's a really nice first step also that you can use if you notice yourself that you struggle with anxiety. So you can always just try it out. So I don't use it every day, but I use it when I notice that I'm in this negative spiral. And then I try to really explore why I'm in this negative way of thinking, and if I can look at it from a different perspective. I try to use it also in addition to my normal journaling habits that I try to build now. I don't journal every day yet, but most of the days I do, and I really like it, so I want to continue doing that. In addition, I want to be using the notebook. So that's it for this video. I will see you guys next time again. Bye.